I'm at the point in the show where I'm going to read you a little bit from Ezekiel Kralin, the latest installment of his ongoing and interminable story. It's titled Darkness Falls upon Hotel California North, and I brought this last week, but I forgot to read it. I don't know why that or how that happened. I knew that I had it. I apologized to him, and I said I'd bring it next week, and next week turned into now, and here is Ezekiel Kralin writing email correspondence July 20th and 21st, 2023. Mr. Sewer's moronic reply from Alden Hope to MCN discussion list, July 20th, afternoon. The problem how to deal with foul-mouthed harassment and hate speech is not exclusive to this list or to Mendocino County. It's a national problem and needs a national solution. The whole country has become too generous with allowing hate speech and calling it free speech. A common-sense Supreme Court will have to come about to do the hard work of separating hate speech from free speech. That may or may not happen. At present, we have an erroneous interpretation of free speech that allows hate speech. Thus, the listserv has the foul-mouthed troll Gerard Marlon Kozlowski, who posts under the pseudonyms of Mike Sewers, Mark Enfield, and Make an Offer, among other fake names. All are the same person, who spends his day deluging the list with filth, hate speech, and harassment. Subject: very strange crap going on in my building. From Ezekiel Kralin to Tanya Mirang. Mirang. Spelled M-E-R-A-N-G, not the other kind of meringue. Date July 20th, nighttime. No electricity since 2:30 p.m. No PG&E coming out, so getting on the internet is a pointless chore for me. This has to do with not having a manager, and two clutches trying to run things who are extremely hostile to me ever since I reprimanded them for trying to withhold my knowledge of that hard poster being distributed. I find it painfully tedious to type on a small screen, and my smartphone battery is running low. I'll have to go to public Wi-Fi tomorrow to charge it, do a little, very little online work. I've been totally sabotaged for glob only knows how long regarding my online activism. I've read all your excellent emails. I just can't respond to them for the nonce. Subject: I'm at Pete's Coffee right now. To my dear Watson, date July 21st, afternoon. While I was dumping perishable goods into the basement bin, I heard a resident gabbing away with Victor and Cortez at the top of the back stairway. Then Cortez walked down the steps as I turned around to proceed upstairs. He saw me, swiveled around to go back up, at which moment I called to him, "Will the electricity be back on today?" To which he quickly replied, "It should be. PG&E is on the way." "Great," I said, and then I heard the other resident quip, "Yeah, in 12 hours. I think he was joking, but be that as it may, at least Cortez did not behave like a jackass, even though my presence scares the shit out of him, I presume. Too fucking bad. No text reply from either Victor or Paolo the Bugman. At least not yet, though I don't expect any. Too fucking bad for them as well. Not one damn bug in my room, but what's to stop him from claiming there is an infestation just because it gets him mas dinero? 16 minutes until fully charged from my X250, though its battery only gives me 1.5 hours. On the other hand, my Chromebook will last for at least 3 hours. However, it does not have a slot to insert my security lock that allows me to loop the cable around the table leg to prevent someone from popping in and swiping it. It's a heavy metallic table with a single fat leg in the middle. It might use the Chromebook. I might use the Chromebook when I return to Pete's after the bug inspection. Then both systems will give me 4.5 hours or a bit more between them. I only have an hour left before I must return hovel by 1 p.m. I certainly hope I'm not forced to sit around for up to 4 fucking hours. The timing between power going out and this inspection is exquisitely tortuous. I'm being played, Watson. That it's for a good purpose, I'm sure, for as I've already said, this is all scripted, for which reason I do not believe that Cortez or Juan actually hate or fear me. Same goes for Mr. Sewers, as weird as that sounds. So, allow me now to post to the MCN lists and prepare my next chapter. I bet you Mr. Sewers has suddenly become the most avid reader on my Brindlekin Tales at this point. I'm sure you can guess why. Subject: I'm back online at the library, and something amazing happened earlier. All capital letters here. To my dear Watson, date July 21st, late afternoon. Paolo didn't show up until just before 4 p.m. And you know something, Watson? I can't figure where all the time went. What with me sitting here in my room, or there, rather, in my room, though I'd be climbing the walls with boredom, but I managed to type out several more discussion replies to upload once I got back on. Anyway, here comes the amazing something. I took the time to explain my dilemma, read the flyers, and Cortez and Victor's hostility as a result. Showed him the flyer, of course. He was stunned and expressed much concern, like a decent person would. I also explained Kevin's malicious behavior toward me due to his growing senility, and that is why he told Paolo not to contact me or respond to any of my rare texts or phone calls. And Kevin's attempt to evict me, but failed with a sincere apology from a blah-blah's attorney, and then the second eviction notice months later because Kevin had either failed to bring my rent check to the landlord or intentionally withheld it. We reached an agreement whereby he will make sure to keep in touch re upcoming bedbug treatment. He found one, just one, on my cot, to be sure that Victor doesn't sabotage me in that regards. Now he understands that I am an activist on behalf of the LGBT houseless and that I often take flack for it. Since I showed him the flyer, he didn't doubt that the FBI assigned me to one of their attorneys, so he's going to play along and not let Victor in on what I told him. Our report has morphed into something excellent, and guess what he did before departing, Watson? He insisted on giving me $20 to help with the laundry. Then he said, "Is that enough?" I told him, "Yes, it is, and God bless." He blessed me back, and he will text me soon regarding setting up treatment this Monday or Thursday, first going through Victor, who won't be the wiser. This is to be sure that should Victor not inform me of the treatment day and hour, Paolo will. Meanwhile, I overheard Chihuahua Man talking on the phone in the hallway above to a PG&E rep. Cortez was there with him, since I heard his voice too. They're still trying to get someone out here. And Chi-Man phoned them yesterday evening as well, so no need for me to take action myself. It's in the works, though I'm afraid I'll suffer another night without electricity, but at least I'll have my phone charged to 100% in order to listen to Memo of the Weird until 1 a.m. It's popcorn and cheese for me tonight, and a tall warm mug of room temp soda. Well, I can have the pups over if Deke shows up, and that'll be very nice company, as usual. Enough for now, signed Zeke K. Holmes. P.S. Damn it, I suddenly have to pee real bad, so now I got to pack up my devices and use the restroom and then unpack and reload all over again. Addendum. Just before Filipino Kai appeared out of nowhere, Deke exclaimed in a proud timbre as he handed me Flacco's leash, "Take the dogs now, I got to get to work." "Glad to hear it," I replied. "The dogs will be fine with me. As always, they love their visits with Uncle Zeke." "I don't know, I just get too jerky-worky standing around doing nothing. I got to keep moving," he confessed. "I understand perfectly. I'm glad you're in such a good mood, Deke." He was in such great spirits. I soaked it all up. Upon opening the gate to let Flacco in, some young fellow in dreadlocks came down the stairs and into the lobby, whereupon she barked like crazy. "Quiet, Flacco," her master hollered from where he stood by the curb. I swiftly snatched her up in my arms, and her barking ceased. The young fellow grinned at Flacco with a charmed visage as he stepped forward to depart. It was so dark climbing the stairs, I almost tripped over the wee quadruped. She was so thrilled to be here again. I could hardly restrain her from dashing like the wind to and fro the hallway. But somehow I managed to slip her inside, whereupon she darted about the room in utter glee. "Arf, arf, arf." I then told her I'll be right back, closed the door, and hurried back down the carpeted steps for pooch number 2. Earlier that day, at Pete's Coffee, my neighbor with the shaggy dog, and who spied on me for Kevin sometime early last year, nodded and grinned at me as I walked by to order my tea. I smiled back, said hi, and continued on to the counter at the back of the shop. As I returned with a drink in hand, I paused by his table and exclaimed, "I'm surprised everyone from the building isn't here to get on the web." He chuckled, said, "I know, right?" Then we each exchanged comments about the awful situation of being without electricity for Glob only knows how many more days. This is worse than any other time the power went south. I have lived here for a long time. To be continued.